Dr. Joel Stewart Bloom will now be installed as the 8th president of the university. At this time, it's my privilege to call upon the New Jersey Institute of Technology Board of Trustees Chair, Kathleen Welkopowski, and Chair-elect Steve DePalma.
Thank you, Steve. Will all the trustees of the university please rise? The Board of Trustees of New Jersey Institute of Technology has chosen Dr. Joel Stewart Bloom as the 8th president of the institution. We shall now proceed with the investiture. Dr. Bloom, will you please rise? The Presidential Medallion is a symbol of the office and authority of the President of the University. Dr. Joel Stewart Bloom, as a sign of your authority, I bestow upon you this Presidential Medallion, which shall serve as the symbol of your office. The mace signifies the authority invested in the President by the Board of Trustees. With the bestowing of the medallion and the transfer of the mace, assumption of presidential authority by Joel Stewart Bloom as 8th president of the New Jersey Institute of Technology is now complete. Congratulations, Dr. Bloom. Will Dr. Diane Bloom, the new First Lady of NJIT, escorted by her son Ian, please come up forward.
Please be seated, except for the trustees. Except for the trustees. It is a privilege to speak this morning unanimously on behalf of the Board of Trustees who stands with me and for the entire NJIT community. Those of us who've known Dr. Joel Bloom for the past 20 years have a real appreciation of his leadership and are most confident of the future. In his role as founding dean of the Honors College and vice president for academic and student affairs, he has helped to shape this university. He has worked continually to recruit the most academically talented young people to NJIT's academic programs and to create a unique educational experience that prepares them for success and leadership in today's marketplace. He is the reason many of us from industry partner here at NJIT, serving on boards, supporting scholarships, recruiting interns, and hiring our graduates. But there is no partner more valuable than one. Our very dear First Lady, Dr. Diane Bloom. Dr. Bloom, Diane, please accept these roses as a token of our appreciation, our respect, and our admiration on behalf of the entire NJIT community.
Thank you very much.
You need a picture. You need a picture. Oh, you got it?
I would now ask Dr. Bloom to come to the podium to deliver his inaugural remarks. Dr. Bloom?
Good morning. It is my privilege and honor to greet you today as president of New Jersey Institute of Technology and to share some thoughts about the current state and the future of this great university. First, I would like especially to welcome and thank those who spoke before me. I know that much of my success is because I have had the opportunity to work with incredibly talented people. From Governor Tom Kean, I saw firsthand how the art of inclusion can achieve the intended outcomes. From Mayor Cory Booker, the brilliant articulation of a vision of an urban community rich with higher education institutions. And from my friend Steve Cordes, the importance of priorities, a plan, and good people. My dear friend Rochelle Hendrick is an extremely accomplished education leader, and I don't like her, you realize it starts from K through 18, and she has done it all. So I thank you, Rochelle. And my friends on the administration and the faculty, it's just an absolute delight to work with you. I have had the opportunity to work with dedicated and highly able trustees. Kathleen Y. Kopolsky as our chair for 10 years, and Chair-elect Steve DePalma, and the balance of the trustees. And our overseers. One particular overseer I would like to acknowledge, Dr. Al Dorman. Al and his wife Joan have served as friends of this university, my mentor, and have greeted my wife and I very often to great conversations and of a lot of advice over these many years as we have traveled west to California. I also want to acknowledge our very hard-working staff, one of whom many of you know, my executive assistant, Mary Jane Pohiro. Many of the staff here have NJIT in their DNA. And my soulmate and my love, my wife Diane, and my son Ian, those are the people who keep me going on a daily basis. I am most fortunate to be surrounded today by many family members, some and friends, some of whom I've known since elementary school, and of course many of our NJIT faculty administrators, from all who I learn from on a daily basis. I thank my many colleagues from universities and colleges that have traveled from across the state and the nation. I thank the members of the Newark Municipal Council and representatives from the New Jersey Senate and Assembly who have joined us here today. These are the people who know how to work in a bipartisan spirit, as you heard already from the governor and from Secretary Hendricks. There's very important $750 million bond issue on the ballot, and as you've also already been asked, please vote yes this November 6th. A little over 20 years ago, I joined NJIT to work with President Saul Fenster. I had met Saul, a powerful academician and intellect, while we served together on Governor Kane's Commission on Science and Technology. NJIT was highly attractive to me because of its focus on math and science. It is a public urban university, and like many of you in the audience today, my background is very similar to that of many NJIT students. My sisters Renee and Robin and I were the first in our family to go to college. As undergraduates, we attended urban campuses of the City University of New York. I know some of you think this is a New England accent. It's not. After all, it's the public universities that educate 70% of the students in our nation. My wife is a graduate of the University of Minnesota, public university. Did some of her graduate work at Glassboro, Rowan, and has her terminal degree from Rutgers University, another very fine school, and is currently a faculty member at Kane University. I find these urban public universities edgy, high in energy, and diverse, and many of us owe a great debt to these public universities. As you've probably already figured out, this great public university is very much at the edge as New Jersey's science and technology university in its diversity of population, its disciplines, research, local and global community service, and the business incubation fostered by its enterprise development centers. Today, I'd like to share with you that the state of NJIT is sound. It has a record enrollment of nearly 10,000 students, including the largest freshman class of 1,049 students whose combined average SAT scores for math and reading is 1161. That's the combined average math and reading, 1161. That's 140 points higher than the national average, as well as the average in the state of New Jersey. The Albert Dorman Honors College now has nearly 700 students. These are students who are on the top 10% in the nation. Their combined average SAT scores, math and reading, is 1350. We have an educational opportunity program here that graduates students in our very, very rigorous disciplines at a rate 20% higher than the national average for minority students. That deserves a round of applause. Over the past 5 years, we have added 21 majors. We base these majors on feedback from the very important business and industry councils that serve us here. And I tell you today that all of these new majors, the enrollment is full. We have a record, as you've heard, of $100 million in research expenditures, placing NJIT fifth among the nation's 34 polytechnic universities. NJIT has achieved the distinction of being fourth in the United States for inventions per federal research dollar, and 12th in industry support per federal research dollar. Thank you, Joe Taylor from Panasonic. Thank you. In a recent tally, we counted 154 U.S. patents, 101 are either licensed, optioned, or jointly owned with third parties. We also have 139 patents pending application, of which 56 are funded by third parties. NJIT has the management and research responsibility for the largest aperture solar telescope in the world, located in Big Bear, California. As you look around this campus, and you saw some of it in the video, we are now in the process of doing $100 million in new construction, renovation, and repair. The campus here and the campus life is very dependent upon that. You've heard a little bit about our Enterprise Development Center. It is the home of 90 companies, 800 employees, 300 students work there. This past year, they did $82 million in expenditures, $67 million of that was third-party funding. So it's time to look ahead. We can't rest on our laurels. There are emerging opportunities and formidable challenges. We must think and act boldly in order to continue to claim the mantle of New Jersey's Science and Technology University. There is much I could say about our plans, and I know that everyone would like to hear me speak at considerable length. However, it's probably best for me to defer to the wisdom of the dissertation advisor who told an eager doctoral candidate to limit thy topic. Heeding this advice, I will focus on only 3 interconnected areas: our strategic hiring plan for faculty, the quality of life on and around our campus, and business and industry partnerships. I believe these 3 very important opportunities are our future here at NJIT, part of the future of the city of Newark, the state of New Jersey, and our nation as a whole. First, the strategic plan for hiring new faculty. This initiative is in response to the planned growth of our enrollment, the expansion of our curriculum, and our focus on growing thematic, interdisciplinary research. Great universities have great faculty. We have many of them here today with us today. And that deserves a round of applause. Thank you. As New Jersey's Science and Technology University, we must have state-of-the-art expertise in teaching and in research. Faculty who know how students learn and how to bring research into the classroom for our undergraduates as well as our graduate students. We must have faculty who lead in their labs and work across the disciplines with their colleagues. This year, because of very timely action of our Board of Trustees, our provost, our deans, chairs, and faculty, we recruited over 30 new faculty members, tenured track, university lecturers. We expect to add another 30 over the next 2 years. This will be transformative to NJIT. Some of you may have participated in the symposium yesterday presented by 3 of our new faculty on the topic of sustainability. In listening to those 3, we know we are on the path to moving the edge. Joining our current faculty, those coming to NJIT bring knowledge and talent in 3 focused thematic education and research areas that will help to build the essential interdisciplinary bridges spanning sustainable systems, ubiquitous computing or digital everywhere, and the convergence of life sciences and engineering. Our strategic plan identifies these 3 areas as fundamental to the quality of life in the 21st century. Our commitment to sustainable systems expands the conventional boundaries of environmental engineering. It affirms that we must use technology to coexist with the natural environment in ways that minimize negative impact, yet also sustain our personal well-being and economic progress. Among our new faculty are individuals whose education and research interest underscores the transformative synergy between the life sciences and a host of other disciplines. Experts already here in biology and clinical medicine are collaborating with colleagues in fields ranging from mathematics to every branch of engineering. These efforts promise breakthrough insights into basic physiological processes, new therapies, new pharmaceuticals, and innovative medical devices. In the third area, I hardly have to elaborate on the pervasive influence of digital technology, digital everywhere. In these fields, like the other two, the present is merely a prologue to the future. There are computing and communication technologies and applications yet to be imagined. We will imagine these innovations at NJIT and translate them into practical reality. Equally important, many of our excellent incumbent faculty are committed to mentoring and working in interdisciplinary teams with their new faculty colleagues. Collaboration that is expected to substantially increase our already significant research outcomes. The second focus is the quality of life on and in and around campus. Just yards from where we are gathered, the future is literally taking shape in the renovation of the former Central High School, building and construction on Warren Street. Historic Central High School will have the same exterior look, but inside there already are new classrooms, laboratories, students' lounge. The first floor will include ample public space for exhibitions and working studios. When completed, as you already heard in the video, 2013, the Warren Street Village will add 600 additional residential beds for our campus. We will exceed 200 residential students, continuing to transform NJIT into a residential campus. A good portion of those beds will be in the new residential Albert Dorman Honors College. There are only about 24 residential honors colleges in the nation, and we are leading there as well. In our current strategic plan, we project a student body of 11,000 by 2015. A residential campus is critically important to engaging and supporting these students. This residential environment, along with our learning communities, the adaptive learning that we are now taking on, and the increase in advising that we must do, must enable us to stretch our goals in retaining our students. The goals should easily be 90% retention of freshmen and truly moving our graduation rate for a technological university well above the average, in the neighborhood of 65% of those students who start here in freshmen. We will continue to look as to whether or not we want to grow our enrollment. We're undertaking a capacity study. We know the demand for these students that we graduate from this institution far exceeds the supply. So we need to make sure we are meeting at least a good part of that demand. With the help of Newark Mayor Booker and City Council President Donald Payne, as you've heard, we are the redeveloper of 20 acres along Martin Luther King Boulevard. And we anticipate phase 2 of what we call our Gateway Plan to bring new amenities to what we identify as the University Heights community. The University Heights community in the city of Newark is comprised of NJIT, Rutgers Newark, University of Medicine and Dentistry, and Essex County College. When you take those 4 schools and the Seton Hall Law School, also located here in Newark, and you look at the major cities on the East Coast for higher education, Newark is number 5. Obviously, New York, Washington, D.C., Boston, and Philadelphia, but there is Newark. So we know the powerhouse of higher education that is located in this community. 45,000 students, staff, and faculty. Therefore, the development of the Gateway, the necessary amenities to support that kind of higher ed population. The third focus one that we all are very passionate about, is the need to partner with business and industry. If you travel overseas in Europe, in many Asian countries, and you come across the campuses, very often you find the signage on those campuses recognizes many of the high-tech companies that we're familiar with here in the United States. That signage and that logo, those logos emphasize the close, mutually beneficial links between the companies and those colleges and universities. They are partnering to advance research and commercial development in many fields. We need the same degree of academic and private sector engagement in our country, the same promotion of cooperation and positive, forward-looking relationships. We must foster these relationships, one that brings intellectual and academic support from the private sector, and the private sector organizations having access to the intellectual capital, facilities, and other unique resources of our higher ed communities. The business plan for NJIT going forward needs to change, with the identification of revenue beyond the state's contribution and that of student tuition. It is our intention that NJIT will build and benefit from such relationships. We must pursue becoming the home of a very large-scale, multidisciplinary, university, industry, applied research center. This is a goal that we all must look at together, share, and figure out how we move forward. These robust applied research centers are at other great technological universities around the world. They create the necessary ecosystems that we talk about: ideas, research, funding, innovation, and invention that leads to commercialization. In particular, this must be NJIT's future relationship with the 7 industry clusters that you may have read about in the New Jersey Strategic Plan, the state's strategic plan for economic growth. For many decades, NJIT has had as its 4th mission element economic development. Now it is time to actualize that mission element. Together we can continue to improve educational success and student learning outcomes, leading to increased retention and graduation that we must achieve. We can grow the research and apply it with industry partners together. And we can develop a campus and surrounding community that is supportive of these efforts. To assure you of our ability to do so, allow me to quote from the Middle States Accrediting Commission on Higher Education that completed their top-to-bottom evaluation of our university this past spring. In their report for our decennial accreditation, the evaluation team wrote, "The New Jersey Institute of Technology meets or exceeds all 14 standards outlined in the characteristics of excellence in higher education." The New Jersey Institute of Technology is making a disproportionate impact in higher education given its means. In particular, NJIT is providing an admirable service to first and family students attending college. These students are excellent, well-trained, and the graduates are highly successful after leaving this university. New Jersey's success in providing a first-class education, a first-class college education to a diverse student body is enviable. I thank you for listening. I thank all of you led by Dr. Charles Dees, our Vice President for Advancement, who have worked on this inauguration, in addition to doing your other job at about 200%. That is the commitment of the people who work here at this university every day. You are truly wonderful, and sincerely appreciate it. I thank my parents, Max and Ann Bloom. Let's pray for peace in the Middle East, and you all take care. Thank you.